So no one is perfect. I'm not going to say that. Like I said, my boyfriend sometimes has contributed to my anxiety attacks, and he's even exacerbated them at times. And he didn't know it until after the situation happened, and he was very sorry, moved on. Nobody's perfect, okay? But you cannot be vulnerable with someone who has not proven that they have your best interest at heart. And I mean, like I said, if they mess up, it happens. But, y'all both, everybody needs to sit down and talk about it. And if they still aren't, able to, look at themselves and say, yeah, I'm part of it, then that's not what you need, okay? And, like, for example, if you talk to them and they make it all about them, or they blame you, that's not okay. So this also, this process, also requires a lot of humility on your part, because you're going to that person and you're going to be relying on them very heavily. So you have to be very humble when you're, dealing with them, and you have to trust them. If you cannot trust them, let's, like I'm saying, if they've betrayed you, or they increase your anxiety, or are disloyal at all, I do not suggest using that person as a support system. And it takes a lot of trust and humility from you to be able to start your process. To heal, you have to work to retrain your brain. You have to retrain your brain on how you react to different stressors. Having a support system helps because you can vent and get everything out, and they won't call you nuts. Or at least they'll wait, and then you can have a good laugh afterwards and they'll call you crazy. At least, it's better to joke about it than for someone to actually treat you like you're crazy. You know what I mean? For someone to bash you or throw it back at your face because you flip the fuck out. Because anxiety can have people thinking that you're rude. They can have people thinking that you're inconsiderate, that you're selfish, because you're so focused on this, whatever's driving the anxiety at the time. You're not really thinking about anything else, and it takes you to go through that, and then you're like, okay, what happened? And it's not like you're outside of yourself. It's that you're getting thrown all this stuff and you're not able to process it, and your brain is in fight or flight mode at that point. You need to be able to work to identify those feelings. And unfortunately, one of the only ways to do that is to actually go through the attack. And then when you have the attack, then you can understand what happened before, what happened after, what happened during it, because it takes a long time. It takes a couple times to be able to say, this happened, that happened, this happened. But you have to actually go through it to be able to see what's going on. And then it's that's the tough thing about it, because you have to actually go through these attacks and expose yourself to your fears to be able to move forward from them. Open your mouth. And that sounds so simple, but it is so important. You have to talk. If you can't handle face-to-face talking, because some people can't, it's just how people are. If you can't handle face-to-face talking, write. Instant message. We have technology nowadays. We can write, things down, type it on the computer, send an email to people, but you need to communicate. That's what I'm talking about. You need to be humble enough to be able to communicate, especially with your support system. If you're going through this and you're not talking to them, they're not going to think that you trust them, and they're not going to want to be your support system for much longer. Join online support groups. There are a lot of support systems out there for the different conditions that you may be suffering from. I myself am in a support system for multiple sclerosis. So talk to, get into a support system, get into a support group, get a pen pal. You know, find somebody online that suffers the same thing from you. I myself have a wonderful couple friends on my, you know, in my personal page, on my personal Facebook page that are that suffer from multiple sclerosis. I even have a friend that suffers from MS that is a witch. Hi, Sadio. And do what you have to do to start talking. Anxiety feeds and feeds. As you repress your issues, it feeds on it and it gets worse. So the more that you expose yourself to talking, the more healing is going to take place. As you talk, you'll see recurring themes. Write them down. Do whatever you have to do to remember them. And if you're a witch, you can do different spells to be able to eliminate it. Acknowledge it. So whatever you have to do, you have to acknowledge that that is a part of your issue. Okay, it is a part of your issue. Whether you want to see it or not, you have to see it in order for you to heal. And for a witch, get a candle, release that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Banish it. You know, do whatever you have to do. Write it down. Put it in some water. Put it in a freezer. Bind it. Do whatever you have to do. Pray, meditate, and most importantly, cry. Hell, the spirits will not care. The spirits will not care. I let it all out. You know, I do whatever I have to do to be able to heal, because that is my process. And anxiety loves isolation. So get out. Do what you like to do. Even if it seems like you're not good at it anymore, do something that will make you happy. Like last night, I had a big anxiety issue. I watched my favorite show, Mystery Diners. I love that shit. So I watched it. I got a bowl of my favorite ice cream, and you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm a fat bitch. I love ice cream. So I had some ice cream, and I watched Mystery Diners, and I felt better. So give love. The biggest message I think that I can put in this video is to give love and receive it. So when you're pushing people away, and that's a big thing with anxiety too, pushing people away, you have to be able to give love and to be open to receiving that love. When you have a support system, you cannot push people away. I know what happens. Like I said, mistakes happen. Identify when you have that mistake and say, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to push you away. I know that I pushed you away when I did this, when I yelled at you, when I cussed you out, all that. I know I pushed you away, and I'm sorry. I had to go through that to be able to, you know, get where I am right now, calm. When you know what you go through in your anxiety, then you have to put yourself in your support system's shoes. So if you're having an anxiety attack and you're freaking out, you know, chest pains, breathing heavy, you know, whatever you do, my thing is, I get pissed off. I get really angry. I will lash the fuck out, and then I get really tired. But one of the last ones I remember is I cussed him out over some fucking soup. It happens. So that's anxiety for you. That's anxiety. I cussed him out because I wanted to make him some soup. He didn't want that kind of soup, and I got pissed off because I wanted to make that kind of soup. And it pissed me off because I didn't understand. And my boyfriend is just, you know, getting all of this, and he's just, I'll wait till you're done, and I'll just be here when you're done. And when I finally came out of it, I'm so sorry. But that's exactly what they deal with. They deal with you having your issues, and then they're there to comfort you when you're done. And then you gotta be there to comfort them. Say thank you. I'm so sorry. You gotta be able to be humble enough to accept that you did wrong, but it's not your fault. You know what I mean? And like it's I'm not gonna say it's like an addiction, but you have to learn how to be able to process it. You have to learn how to get away from it, because it's also a habit. So you have to learn how to adjust differently. So there will be mistakes, you know, and that's why identifying your triggers and your process within your anxiety attacks, from small to big, you have to be able to identify those to be able to move forward. That's the, you can say accepting you have a problem is the first step, and then going through it and identifying what happens when you have that problem is the next step. Now, this is a big thing, because like I said, having a support system, you have to have people there that will keep your safety as a priority. So if you have anxiety and it gets too much and you feel suicidal, you feel homicidal, any of that, you feel like you want to cut yourself, you feel like you want to throw up, you feel like you want to starve yourself, you need to be able to contact a hotline, and I will put the suicide hotline either on the video or in the description below. You need to be able to go to your local emergency services, contact 911 immediately. You need to go to the nearest hospital, do whatever you need to do, because your life is a priority and it needs to be a priority to you. I don't care what you're going through, your health needs to be a priority to you. And if you're trying to heal your anxiety and you're watching this video, obviously it is, you need to make sure that you get to a emergency personnel person if it gets to the point where you feel you're going to harm yourself or harm others. So love yourself. You are not a result of your fear. You are better than your fear. And it's not stronger than you. Alright, and that's about it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Give me them thumbs up.